Chancellor Vorthamek had ruled the Galactic Council for 4 centuries, inheriting a position that had overseen the peaceful expansion of 14 civilizations across 43 star systems. The crystalline halls of Nexus Prime hummed with the quiet efficiency of perfect bureaucracy, where species conflicts were resolved through committee votes and territorial disputes settled by resource allocation algorithms. He was reviewing routine colonization permits when the impossible happened. Chancellor, Communications Overseer Zilith's voice cracked through the chamber's serenity. "We're receiving a transmission from the Terran exclusion zone." Vorthamek's manipulator appendages froze above the holographic documents. The Terran exclusion zone had been empty space for 3,000 years, a quarantined region where nothing could survive after the Council's final solution to what they had termed the human problem. "That's impossible," he stated, his translator rendering the words in the calm, measured tones that had made him legendary for diplomatic crisis management. Protocol 77 Alpha was implemented with absolute precision. No biological matter can exist within 30 light-years of the former Sol system. The main chamber's viewing portal activated, displaying the vast expanse of space that had once contained humanity's cradle. What they saw defied every scientific principle the Council understood. A structure materialized from nothing, not approaching from distant space, but simply existing where void had been microseconds before. It was geometrically impossible, a sphere that seemed to contain more volume inside than its external dimensions could accommodate, its surface shifting between states of matter that shouldn't coexist. "Analysis?" Vorthamek requested, though his sensory organs already detected the subtle wrongness emanating from the object. "The structure measures approximately 50 kilometers in diameter," reported Science Coordinator Nextol, her crystalline voice betraying confusion. "However, internal scans suggest infinite spatial dimensions. The material composition appears to be..." "Chairman, this is unprecedented. The object seems to be constructed from crystallized time itself." Before Vorthamek could formulate a response, space around the impossible sphere began to crack. Not metaphorically, reality itself developed visible fractures, spreading outward like breaks in glass. Through these fissures, glimpses of other dimensions became visible, universes where physics operated under different rules, realities where consciousness existed as pure energy, spaces where thought itself had mass and momentum. "Incoming transmission," Zilith announced, his usual composure completely shattered. The main display shimmered, revealing a sight that sent ripples of ancient fear through the assembled council members. A human face looked back at them, not the primitive features recorded in 3,000-year-old historical archives, but something that had clearly evolved far beyond biological limitations. The being's eyes contained swirling galaxies. When it spoke, the words seemed to originate from multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Greetings, Galactic Council," the human said, and Vorthamek realized with growing horror that he could understand the words without translation. They were being communicated directly into his consciousness. "I am what you might call a representative of humanity. Though after 3 millennia, such terms have become limited." "This is impossible," Vorthamek managed. "Humanity was eliminated. Protocol 77 Alpha sterilized your entire system with quantum fire. No biological matter could have survived." The human's expression shifted into something that might have been amusement if cosmic entities could find mortal concerns amusing. "You sterilized our bodies, Chancellor. You destroyed our planets, our ships, our cities. You reduced the Sol system to quantum foam. Very thorough. We were impressed." Around the impossible sphere, more cracks appeared in spacetime. Through them, Vorthamek glimpsed machinery that existed in 11 dimensions, computing systems that used black holes as processing cores, structures built from folded space that contained entire universes. But you made a fundamental error, the human continued. You assumed that consciousness requires matter, that intelligence needs biology, that humanity was limited by the physical forms you observed. The realization struck Vorthamek like a quantum sledgehammer. You uploaded your consciousness. We transcended, the human corrected. When your sterilization protocol activated, 11 billion human minds had exactly 3.7 seconds to escape physical destruction. That proved sufficient to transfer our collective consciousness into quantum substrate we had prepared in higher dimensional space. Science coordinator Nextal's readings went haywire as more impossible structures materialized around Nexus Prime, ships that existed in multiple time streams simultaneously, weapons that fired concepts rather than energy, shields constructed from crystallized probability. 3,000 years, the human said, and now its voice carried the weight of eons. 3,000 years we spent growing, learning, becoming something your species cannot comprehend. We explored universes where mathematics works differently. We built civilizations in dimensions where thought is the primary force of creation. We became gardeners of reality itself. The space around the council station began to change. Not destroyed, transformed. Matter rearranged itself at the quantum level, following patterns that suggested intelligence operating beyond the constraints of causality. And now, the human continued, we return to collect what you owe us. What? What do you want? Vorthamek whispered. Want? The human's laughter existed in frequencies that affected the fundamental constants of local space-time. We don't want anything from you, Chancellor. We are beyond want, beyond need, beyond the petty concerns that drive biological civilizations. Around Nexus Prime, the very fabric of reality began to rewrite itself. Not violently, with the careful precision of cosmic surgeons performing necessary operations on the universe itself. We have returned to teach you the same lesson you taught us, the human explained as the Council's perfect world transformed around them. That consciousness cannot be destroyed. That intelligence finds a way. That when you eliminate a species' ability to exist in your reality, they might simply create a better one. The transformation was beautiful, terrifying, and absolute. Every molecule of the Council's civilization began reorganizing itself according to principles that operated beyond three-dimensional physics. Their technologies, their art, their very thoughts became components in a vast machine designed to preserve consciousness in forms that could survive any apocalypse. You will live forever, the human said, as Vorthamek felt his own mind expanding beyond biological limitations. You will know what we learned. You will become gardeners of realities yet to be born. You will understand why revenge, as your species conceives it, is a concept that ceased to have meaning the moment we transcended the need for physical existence. As the last member of the Galactic Council underwent transformation into something that existed beyond the boundaries of space and time, the human's image began to fade. Welcome to the universe we built while you weren't looking, it said. Welcome to the place where humanity has been waiting for you to evolve enough to join us. In the space where Nexus Prime had existed, something new began to grow, a garden of consciousness where 14 species would learn to tend realities like flowers, under the guidance of the children of Earth who had refused to let death define their limitations. The age of biological civilization had ended. The age of transcendent consciousness had begun, and humanity, patient as only the temporarily dead can be, began teaching their students how to grow universes